Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm get new heroes and announce crazy new information. Tera pretty much adds Ronda Rousey as a playable class. The world of Dofus and Wakfu collide with Krosmaster Arena, and League of Legends gives us details about Preseason 2016. What's happening, guys? James Blunt here with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements of the week ending November 9th, 2015. Starting out the news, we're jumping right into a ton of news from Blizzcon, which happened November 6th and 7th last week. And first up, we have Overwatch, introducing 3 new heroes and announcing that it's coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But even more interesting was the official business model reveal that was announced along with it. Contrary to popular thought, Overwatch is actually going to be a buy-to-play title with 3 different editions set up very similar to Founders Packs that we're used to seeing now in pretty much every MMO that is coming out. Well, for the most part. The base game by itself runs you $39.99, which is less than your typical AAA title. Pre-purchasing this gets you a Noir skin for Widowmaker, and that's basically it. Each edition offers access to all 21 heroes, but the base edition is the only one that you can actually buy for PC alone. They don't offer this through the console versions. The Origin Edition is your standard or normal price title at $59.99, and you can pick that up for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Now, this one gets you a few extra bonuses, including 5 Origin skins, and some digital goodies for other Blizzard games. Then finally, the Collector's Edition gets you 5 Origin skins, the Overwatch soundtrack, the visual sourcebook, a Soldier 76 statue, and of course the gratitude of having a Collector's Edition. This one's going to run you about $130. So yeah, this entire time we thought it was going to have a business model similar to Heroes of the Storm, where you just sort of cycle out through the heroes or may have to earn access to the other heroes. And they even talked about that, but it turns out they decided to go with the buy-to-play route and give players access to all the heroes at once. And speaking of, the new characters introduced seem just as unique as any of the others. Mei is an Arctic-type hero that kind of seems like she's related to Mr. Freeze or something, especially since she has the whole scientist-explorer vibe going on, and she uses freeze-based weapons and abilities. D.Va reminds me of the movie Real Steel or even Big Hero 6. She's a professional gamer girl that controls a mech, so of course she relies on her skills with her mech to destroy her enemies. And then we have Genji, the robot ninja, who is left for dead by his brother Hanzo, who's also in the game, and kind of looks very Warframe-like if you ask me. But as the story goes, Overwatch brings him back from the dead as a cyborg, loading him up with every known ninja ability, especially wall running and double jumping. In regards to beta, which is still going on, pre-ordering any of the editions doesn't grant you access to the beta, according to plenty of posts made on the forums. And on a side note, there wasn't an official announcement for a Mac version of the game, which is kind of weird for Blizzard, especially considering all of the new iMacs and MacBook Pro, with dedicated graphics of course, could handle it like a champ. You can pre-order the game now or wait until it launches spring of 2016. Next up on the BlizzCon news, Heroes of the Storm introduced 3 new heroes, Greymane, Lunara, and Cho'Gall. A brand new battleground called Towers of Doom, and an entirely new game mode as well. Greymane, as you know, is Lord of the Worgen in Warcraft, with the ability to quickly shape-shift between human and Worgen forms by embracing his inner beast, of course. In Heroes of the Storm, he's a ranged assassin that is versatile and a formidable threat in any combat situation, whether firing from behind the lines of battle, dousing enemies with explosive cocktails, or pouncing fang first into their face. Lunara also enters the fray as a ranged assassin who punishes enemies with a volley of twisted spears and deadly, debilitating toxins. Cho'Gall, on the other hand, is part warrior, part assassin. Another unique addition in this case. For the first time ever, this hero will allow 2 players to team up to control one single hero. Equipped with an impressive array of dark spells and a brutish strength that can break even the most durable opponents, Cho'Gall packs a whole lot more punch than your average hero. So basically, he's so beastly and OP that in order to use him on the battlefield, you have to sacrifice only having 4 heroes on your team with 2 players controlling just him alone. Both interesting and insane mechanics going on here. Just as interesting, the new battleground Towers of Doom is unlike any of the others in that each core or tower is protected by a barrier that cannot be attacked by heroes unless you activate altars that periodically rise on the battlefield. But once you destroy your enemy's towers, you can actually bring them under your own team's control, which is pretty cool. Sounds like a fun setup if you ask me. And finally, the new game mode that was announced was the Arena. Now, when I first heard about this, I was thinking the arena in Smite, but couldn't be more different. This mode pits 2 teams of 5 against each other in a best-of-3 competition, and all who enter the arena must select one of 3 random heroes offered to them before the start of each match. Once players enter the arena, they choose their heroic abilities and then they ride directly into battle to capture temples or topple garden terrors on their quest to destroy the opposing core. Once a core has been obliterated to end the round, all heroes will be transported to a completely different arena where the next round will begin. Again, each one of these new features coming to Heroes of Storm is pretty innovating in the genre, if you ask me. I haven't exactly mentioned when all of this will be available in-game, but I can imagine it's soon enough. Be sure to check out all the new trailers at the site post at MMOHuts.com for plenty more details. Next up at BlizzCon, Hearthstone announced a new adventure expansion called League of Explorers. The new trailer here helps tell the story, but be prepared to journey to remote and exotic locations, defy insidious traps in the depths of forgotten temples, dodge unfathomable doom at every turn, and you get the idea. 4 new heroes join us with this adventure, bringing plenty of new cards to add to your collection. As always, the adventure will be released in sections for $6.99 individual pricing, or $19.99 bundled up, and the new League of Explorers adventure begins this week on November 12th. Of course, that wasn't the only awesome stuff coming from BlizzCon. It was just the free-to-play stuff, or at one point, what we thought was going to be free-to-play with Overwatch. There's a lot of excitement for the new expansion for World of Warcraft. The new StarCraft expansion is launching this week, and people are really hyped for the Warcraft movie, including myself. Be sure to catch up on all the BlizzCon action at MMOHuts.com. Alright, pushing past the BlizzCon news, Tera released a new microsite for the latest female human exclusive class, the Brawler. Coming December 2015, this new power tank drops enemies right and left with nothing but her fists. And, obviously the powerful gauntlets that she wears over her fists. With stunning combos, powerful knockbacks, and the strength and tankiness to go toe-to-toe with BAMs and bosses, it's almost like having Ronda Rousey right in the game. I mean, really. The new hit counter is the key to the Brawler's punch and parry fighting style, making her such a powerful tank, and when her rage meter builds up, she can unleash devastating combos with her massive Power Fist gauntlets. Kind of like the Gunner, this new class should add new and exciting action-based mechanics to the game. Keep your eye out next month. Speaking of new classes, Trove revealed its latest class, the Revenant. Now every game has a Revenant. This also tanky class uses spears to deal damage, and sacrifices health to deal damage and defend allies. This is another Spirit Warrior, so you do have the freedom to customize for a headless look while still being able to equip hats and faceplates, just like you can with the Lunar Lancer. The Revenant steals enemies' souls as he defeats them, restoring a small amount of health using the basic attack, and when his health gets depleted, a powerful Spirit Wraith will burst forth, returning half of his health and fight by his side. He also is able to summon spear attacks to attack all enemies in front of him, with the damage done based on the Revenant's maximum health. Unfortunately, there isn't a preview or intro video out just yet, but you can expect to see the Revenant on the live servers tomorrow, November 10th, and supposedly the new class will launch with the new PvP mode. No official information has been released on this as of yet, but PvP is available on the playtest server, scheduled to arrive with the Revenant. So I guess we'll have to confirm it tomorrow then. Next up, as another reminder, the initial beta for ASTA, the War of Tears and Winds and stuff, has been in full swing this past week. According to Webzen, the first beta phase was set to last 1 week and end on Tuesday, November 10th, which, as you know, is tomorrow. This initial test gave players their first insight into the game's mechanics and features, allowing players to level up to 50 to experience nearly every feature the game has to offer. Again, this fantasy world MMORPG is inspired by Asian myths and legends, featuring 2 factions and 5 distinct classes, and according to the site post, ASTA offers the very best of traditional MMORPG gameplay. And that's kind of what I'm afraid of, honestly. Each faction has 7 areas to explore, excluding starting areas, which differ from race to race. Open world PvP, class arena matches, and public raids are also among the list of features offered. The second beta phase is scheduled for late November, and all players with an active Webzen account can freely access the beta. So basically, just sign up and you're in. Next up, another new game became available this week that ties together the worlds of Dofus and Wakfu, and it's called Krosmaster, or Krosmaster, however you want to say it. Some of you guys may be familiar with the physical board game version that's been around for a few years now, but open to all free-to-play today, in fact. We have the fully animated 3D online version for web browsers. Here there are more than 130 virtual figurines to collect, and 4 game modes including PvE, PvP, Ranked, and International Tournament. The idea is to battle players from all over the world in the PvP arenas in this tactical board game that includes a mixture of strategy and epic battle with awesome animations and dark humor. Gotta have that. Plus, if you're familiar with Wakfu, Dofus, the physical board game, or all of the above, you'll definitely want to check it out. The game is available via Steam or standalone client from their official website as of today. Also last week, Orcs Must Die Unchained seems to be getting closer to open beta, releasing a new hero-updated gameplay/cinematic trailer that you see playing here. According to the official site post, OMDU has changed drastically over the course of closed beta based on the feedback received from the community, and because of this, the developers have decided that starting on November 10th, again, tomorrow, the North American servers will only be available during set times to allow for an onslaught of maintenance and patches to bring on all of these community-suggested changes. The game has been in closed beta for well over a year now, so hopefully it's prepared to go open beta soon in order to help pique players' interests. And finally, for our last bit of news, it's about that time again. Riot recently released a peek at the season updates and preseason changes to League of Legends in 2016. Now, the goal with the changes that they're making this preseason all work towards making each game of League feel unique. From the different champion strengths you bring, to the items you take to battle, all the way to the masteries you choose, it will have a very clear impact on how each game plays out. So this time around, there's going to be a strong focus on marksman changes. Rather than just balancing them against today's meta, they plan to give each marksman a specific meta-agnostic identity. As an example, Graves has always been about getting up close and personal to whatever he wants to make holes in, and now he's going to be able to do that even stronger. So basically, they're taking what makes the marksman unique and driving that really hard. As you can expect, the marksman itemization changes with this as well, and this is just the surface of what changes are planned for the new season. Head over to the site post at MMOHuts.com to check out the latest preseason spotlight video. Anyway guys, that's about it for all the major MMO news and announcements for this week. Like always, if you're looking for more information regarding the news topics featured in the recap, check the links in the description below or head over to MMOHuts.com for even more up-to-the-hour MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.